Hey, come here. You like pro wrestling? We got a little something for you. Two fans, 3,000 miles away. We each been watching for more than 30 years. Celebrating the art form, the action, the homoeroticism. We ain't rating matches. We ain't analyzing stories. We ain't experts. We just sit down, shut up, and mark out! Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Sit Down, Shut Up, and Mark Out. I'm Blade Daly, and I'm coming to you with the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, the greatest Canadian pro wrestling podcaster, Joshi G. Joshi G, how are you?
Yeah, man, I'm doing really well. Lots of excitement going on right now, with so many different things. But of course, our podcast, we focus on professional wrestling. So that's the main thing. Very exciting times. I feel like I still have so much to catch up on when it comes to wrestling. But so far, from what I've seen, so many amazing matches, so many amazing wrestlers. We've got a lot to talk about. How are you doing, I Blade Daily?
I'm doing great. I saw Deadpool and Wolverine last night.
Nice.
Fucking hilarious. I'm a big fan of both those characters, for one. I mean, as we've discussed before,
of course,
Wolvie is my dude, but Deadpool isn't far off. He's an amazing character. Ryan Reynolds is the absolute perfect Deadpool there could ever be. I highly encourage you, if you've ever enjoyed any of the Marvel movies, you gotta see Deadpool and Wolverine. It's so good. And I was laughing, like hysterically laughing out loud. I was probably annoying a lot of people, but I laughed my ass off through that entire movie. It's so good. Don't want to spoil anything. Go see it.
All right.
Yeah, lots of cool surprises, lots of fun stuff. So, Joshi.
Yes?
Josh Magosh. We do have a lot to discuss, but we're going to do something a little different this episode. Because of our taping schedule this week, we decided, you know what? We are usually all up to date on AEW, and we love the dub, okay? But we're taping this before Dynamite. So we can't talk about what happened on Dynamite. So we're going to talk about some other stuff because there is a lot to discuss. And it's still about AEW, a lot of it. Actually, all of it. Some of it. Maybe all of it. Some of it.
We'll see.
But the first thing, I woke up to a message from you.
I ruined the day, man. I ruined your day.
Literally, I woke up, the first thing I see. If I see a message from you, I check it right away.
Oh.
I do. So I roll over. My dumbass overslept anyway, so I look at my phone. There's a message from Joshi. I need to see what's going on here. It's a link to a tweet. It's a picture of Anthony Khan and Shane fucking McMahon. What? What is happening? Why? How? Why? These are all questions that I asked myself when I saw that picture. And I started to do some thinking. Is this a terrible thing? Is it a bad thing? Is it a potentially wise thing? Joshi, let's converse.
Okay. I will say this. It is my fault. I mean, I kept teasing you about Shane.
Oh, it's definitely your fucking fault.
I wouldn't stop teasing you about Shane. And then they had the meeting. It's like
you spoke it into reality.
I spoke it into reality, so I do apologize. I bleed daily.
Oh, you're going to need to do more than apologize. I'm going to tell you that right now.
All right, Shane, where are you? Let's go. Let's fucking go.
Go take him out.
I'll beat your ass.
Take him out.
Look, the minute I read that Shane was talking to AEW talent about AEW, I had a feeling that it was only a matter of time until he was going to meet Tony Khan. When he ran into Mercedes Moné at the airport and they had some kind of a discussion and she didn't really get into it, I said, crap. You know, she probably got Shane's number and decided to put him in contact with Tony. And then when Tony said that he had never met Shane, but was open to working with him, I said, yeah, okay. At this point, we have to be real. It's something that can potentially happen. This isn't just a rumor. This isn't just a joke anymore. It seems more and more likely. And I was leaning more towards, I think he's going to show up at some point. So today we saw the picture. They did meet and they had a discussion about a potential role in AEW for Shane McMahon. Now, in terms of, is this a good idea? Is this a bad idea? Well, I feel it's one of those we have to wait and see what happens. If Tony wants to bring him in, I'd say be very, very careful. So have him sign NDAs. Make sure you don't divulge too much information that he could potentially share with his brother-in-law. You need to be really, really cautious here. I think this is the biggest risk that Tony is taking. It could end up working out. You know, I mean, Shane is a very knowledgeable man. He wanted to buy UFC back in the early 2000s. He wanted to start his own wrestling promotion, from my understanding. He has a lot of connections. It could end up working really well. However, if this does end up becoming a reality, please do not have him wrestle. I beg of you. Okay? Please. That's the one thing I ask. If Tony's like, okay, you know what? I absolutely want this guy in AEW because I think that he can help me grow the company even more, fine. But I do not want to see him in the ring under any freaking circumstances.
Well said. Well said. You're doing a good job of starting to make up for some of the damage you've caused here. So let's rewind. That's the sound of me rewinding. Let's talk about how this information came to be.
Mm-hmm.
First and foremost, because I'm not convinced, as you and I were just speaking about off air, that this hasn't been entirely intentional from day one.
Yeah.
Because there's a few things about these stories that don't make a lot of sense. Shane McMahon and Mercedes Moné were spotted in an airport, and the topic of AEW was brought up. Was somebody hiding underneath the chair, like recording it? Like, how the fuck does anybody besides them know what they were talking about? And Tony Khan is famously tight-lipped when he wants to be. This guy is very capable of keeping a secret. He is not somebody that just talks to just anybody about just anything. So I'm fairly certain if they wanted to keep a lid on this one, they would have. This is not the kind of thing that anybody besides Tony and a few other people had to know about. So I kind of feel like they've been temperature checking this idea the whole time. Leak a little bit, maybe the possibility. Let's see how people respond. Okay, then Mercedes, maybe there's something to this. Mercedes met with him at the airport. Let's see how people react to it. Now Tony's meeting with Shane McMahon. How did this picture get in there? Who sent this picture? Who leaked this picture? Tony looks awful surprised in that picture. Do you really think that a man who is notoriously known for having people sign non-disparagement clauses and NDAs would just let somebody take a picture of him like that if he didn't want them to? There's something about this that feels a little fishy to me. So rather than, will this be terrible? Will this be bad? Will this be good? Let's explore what terrible, bad, and good look like in this scenario.
Let's do it.
Terrible to me is Shane McMahon gets signed and he's a wrestler who is taking up a lot of TV time. That is the worst case scenario to me. Also, that he does his fucking little dance, which he probably will do. Also, that he wears the baseball jersey. Terrible. I all of that seems terrible to me. And that I have to see it every week. That immediately makes AEW less fun for me to watch. Okay. I don't think even in the worst case scenario, he'd be wrestling that often. He is in his 50s and he's not. This isn't like Chris Jericho wrestling in his 50s. Okay. We all acknowledge Jericho has slowed down quite a bit over the last couple years, but Shane, like, that's like a whole nother level. I mean, the guy blew out his quad doing a leapfrog at WrestleMania last year. So are we in agreement on terrible here?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's look at what bad would be. And I look at the difference between terrible and bad is like not good, but not as bad as terrible. Bad would be Shane McMahon still wrestles. He's not on TV all the time, but he's like still stinking up AEW a lot. Or they try to make him a baby face. I think that is actually what bad looks like. Like terrible is Shane being a baby face wrestling in singles matches. Bad is Shane being a baby face, still wrestling sometimes, but just on TV a lot in spots for a roster that already doesn't have enough TV time to spread around. Even with 5 hours of TV, that roster is so loaded, you know? Are we in agreement on what bad would be?
Absolutely.
Okay. So what does good look like? I think good is that Shane's a heel.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't wrestle at all. Or at the very best, he wrestles like in a trios match once or something.
Fair.
Bleary Line 7, who I'm giving all the credit for this idea.
British friend,
UK buddy. Super smart. Very funny. Great follow. Follow on Threads. Bleary Line 7. Proposed the idea of Shane appearing with the Young Bucks and using the tactic of, we only lost to Team AEW because they had the backing of a billionaire's son, so we got our own.
Mm-hmm.
Shane mega heel heat, playing up the affiliation. I mean, a lot of AEW fans would be mad that Shane is there. I've seen the reactions all day long on Threads. People are not super fond of this idea, but I think the reality is, as wrestling fans, ask yourself this. Would WCW have turned down this idea? Absolutely not. Would ECW have turned down this idea? Absolutely not. Would any wrestling promotion in the history of pro wrestling turn down this opportunity if it was right there? To put this guy who is part of the dynasty that created WWE, having him on AEW, the publicity you could get for your promotion for that. If you put him and booked him super smartly in an angle with the Bucks as like this invading force, could you not see the logic in doing that from a business perspective? I think that makes a lot of sense, honestly. As much as I don't enjoy saying it, I think you could actually make a molten white hot angle out of that.
What about backstage, I Blade Daily?
I don't know. I think that would be something that is built over time.
I agree.
You know, you have him on a talent contract for the duration, you know, for 6 months, with the idea that should things go well, that could lead to something more. But I think you really legally just have to get him to sign something extremely binding. That,
Yeah.
I mean, Tony, it's not like Tony lacks the money to pursue legal action if he needs to, you know, but he just needs to make sure his ass is super covered. But do I think Shane would have valuable insights into the wrestling business? I'm sure he does, you know. You have to weigh whether the shock value is worth the potential negativity that would come with it. And the shock value is obviously huge. Look, we're talking about it right now like it's a done deal. And yet, if that motherfucker walks out on AEW, I am still going to be like, I cannot believe this is happening. It's so surreal. It's such a weird thing. It would be like if Triple H walked out on AEW television. John Cena walking out, you know? Like, so it would absolutely blow me away. I think they would have to do something to parody the Nitro simulcast, you know?
Yeah.
The contract says con, but it says...
I was thinking the same thing. They have to do that.
Yeah. J. Ray on Threads said, the contract says con, but it says Shane McCon.
That's a good one.
Yeah, some good old dad joke humor there. But jury's out. We'll see. But I think I could see an elite with Shane McMahon in it being pretty compelling. Mm-hmm. And I it's the only thing I can think of that would make any sense from a creative angle whatsoever. Unless I just had a terrible idea.
What?
You have Christian talking about terrible fathers. And out of the crowd, he's like, you know, who needs a new dad? You know, I will be your father. And there's this hand from behind that he kind of picks out of the crowd. He's like, no, you back there. And it's Shane. And Shane joins the patriarchy.
That would be hilarious.
That would be fucking hilarious.
It would be.
Oh, my God. And that would be like a total middle finger to Vince.
Oh, yeah.
Jury is out. I will say this. There was a time where Dolph Ziggler was passive-aggressively sharing Motley Crue lyrics on Twitter to try and generate buzz or whatever. Like, is Dolph Ziggler unhappy? Let's look at these lyrics from Smoking in the Boys Room to see what does he mean? That used to be the most interesting thing that happened in pro wrestling.
Yeah, it's true.
Ever since AEW has come along, you cannot deny things are indisputably more interesting all the way around. I never want to go back to that. Okay?
Hell no.
Never, ever. So we're going to move on.
Bye, Shane. Okay.
Bye, Shane, for now. I have a feeling we might be talking about him again. This last Friday, this little indie promotion, Ring of the Honor, put on one of their quarterly pay-per-view events. Mm-hmm. It's no longer a pay-per-view. It's just a special event on Honor Club. It was called Death Before Dishonor. A little indie promotion owned by AEW. It was a very, 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 very good event. Very good event. With one finish that sent me into a conniption fit.
Oh, boy.
I threw a fit like a fucking baby. I said that the only time I really lose my shit is when Shingo Takagi loses. Wrong. I was wrong. I found another one. We'll get to that.
Oh, boy.
And this is because I fan booked myself into disappointment. But I rewatched it later. It was a very good match. It was a very good finish. Or not a very good finish. It still sucked.
Whoa. I thought you hated it. There we go.
Finish still sucked. But all involved did a great job. So let's do it, Joshi. So what you
Ready?
watched it, correct? You watched Death Before Dishonor. Otherwise, it'd be kind of stupid of us to be reviewing something we didn't watch. first match of the night was just, this low-key match with Commander versus the man that I have deemed the Dark Daddy, Beast Mortos.
Mortos!
This match sucked. It sucked.
Okay, I'm leaving. Don't ever say that a freaking Mortos match sucks.
This match ruled. This match ruled in every single fucking way.
Oh, yeah.
As much as we got to give credit to our Dark Daddy, Beast Mortos, Commander was fucking awesome in this match. This guy never fails to impress me. I think they did him a favor by maybe keeping him off TV for a little while. I don't know if he was a little bit hurt or whatever, but
Agreed.
Just letting him heal up. And, Commander is clearly this guy that they feel very comfortable taking pins. Man, this guy in 1 year or a year and a half has done so much and improved so much. This match was just lunacy. And then you have this amazing hybrid base in Beast Mortos. This guy who's a base who can also do insane shit. Yeah. I called Gringo Loco the base god. I believe that is his moniker. Beast Mortos is one of the most innovative athletes in wrestling right now. When have you ever seen a guy this big who can make any luchador's moves look insanely good? Who can also do the luchador flippy flying shit and make it look flawless? This guy is terrifying and amazing all at once. Joshi, please weigh in.
I mean, I love Swerve. I do, but right now, Mortos is my guy. Like, I worship him. I want to form a cult. I want to form a Mortos cult. Damn it. Seriously though, he is just one of a kind, prior to signing with AEW, I saw a little bit of Black Toros, like back when he was Black Toros, and he was impressive for sure.
In AAA, yeah.
In AAA. And then he showed up in ROH a couple of times and was like, whoa, yeah, he's really good, right? But I feel like ever since he had that match with Darby Allin, I guess because he's been in the ring with these really amazing smaller guys that are very athletic and agile and, they do the high-flying stuff super well. You can see that he is matched perfectly with them, even though he's a much bigger. It just works because, as you said, he's not just, a destructive wrestler. He's also really agile and does all this like high-flying stuff really perfectly. I don't understand how he does it. It always catches me off guard because I'm like, but you're so big. I keep repeating that. And it's just been such a joy to see him wrestle so frequently lately. Like we've seen him 3 times in the last 2 weeks, right? I Blade?
Yeah. He's been on Collision every week of the residency so far. He's been, and remember last episode I said I think we'll see him on that ROH show.
You did. You called it. Yeah.
And he showed up, and then he was on Collision the next night.
Yeah.
So like, Darby we saw him Darby, Commander, and then Hologram, which we will talk about that match a little later.
Yeah. Well, I do have a suggestion, I Blade Daily.
Yes, please.
Because honestly, I'm one of those AEW fans that doesn't have a problem with Dynamite and Collision having split rosters. I would say keep Mortos on Collision.
Right.
Because holy crap, as soon as you announce him, people want to watch it now. Even Hologram, we'll get into it later, but keep him on Collision. I would say certain talent needs to be on that show so that even if you're not watching it live, you're more likely to DVR it.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think, so Mortos wrestled the first time because he wrestled as Black Taurus in AEW.
Yes.
Prior to signing. And I can't, did he wrestle Vikingo?
He did wrestle Vikingo. I think it was on an ROH pay-per-view. Yeah. ROH pay-per-view.
And that was the first really good look at him I ever got. And he blew me away. Love the gimmick, love the mask.
That mask.
Then I had heard that he signed, but that he couldn't be called Black Taurus anymore because
Triple
A owned the gimmick.
Yeah.
And they changed him just enough. The mask that he has now is still fucking amazing. It's terrifying because it moves with his face. So, like, if he screams, it looks like a bull screaming at you. Like, it's terrifying. Beast Mortos is a great name. I mean, they did an excellent job repackaging this guy. But this guy's destined for greatness.
Oh, yeah.
Like, he has caught people's attention really fast. It's very, very organic. So I cannot wait to see what happens with Beast Mortos. One thing I want to add about him that I find interesting is I have a hard time gauging how big he actually is.
Me too.
Because his opponents are always so much smaller than him. So is he like a meat guy or does he just look huge compared to these other guys? I don't really know.
Good question.
Is he like the size of a Hobbs or is he like just more of a normal physique? I don't really know.
I'm trying to find information here. Apparently he's 5'10", and he weighs 198 pounds.
Wow. He looks like fucking massive.
Doesn't he?
Compared to that. Yeah, he looks, if they're saying he's 5'10", he's probably 5'8". Like, that's just typical wrestling height bullshit.
Yeah.
Beast Mortos and Commander have a fucking awesome match. Might have been the best match of the night. And Mortos goes over. Fantastic match. The next match we get, very solid, very fun match. Undisputed Kingdom versus Ishii and O'Reilly. Hey, just spoiler alert, guys. There were no bad matches on this show. Really.
None.
It was a fucking great show.
It was.
But the Undisputed Kingdom defeats them. I am loving having Ishii in AEW, ROH for the summer. Like,
I was just gonna say the same thing. Yes.
How fun is this?
Oh,
and
man.
Also, how awesome is the conglomeration?
Yeah.
I love this.
Me too.
When they first did this, I was like, okay, so it's like Orange Cassidy, Kyle O'Reilly. But now it seems to be this kind of fluid, like Super Friends group. They almost seem to imply that Willow's a part of it.
Right.
I'm really enjoying it. I love the conglomeration with Mark Briscoe as the spiritual leader of it. Holy shit. I just love it. It's
Me
so
too.
fucking cool.
So fun. Thank you.
So fun.
And JPW for Ishii. We love him. So thank you.
Yes, thank you for loaning us Ishii for the summer. How cool is
So
that?
cool.
I hope. And we, conversely, they get Takeshita for the G1.
Right?
And our boy has made them proud. I will say that. Don't want to spoil anything on the G1. We will talk about it next week.
Yeah, I need to catch up.
Good God. Yeah, we're going to have so much to catch up on next week. We got G1. We're going to have a whole bunch of AEW to talk about. But yes, Ishii, he's been so great on American TV. Just seeing him tear it up in the crowds. Really, AEW we are the sickos. But not everybody knows who Ishii is. You can't take that for granted. And so seeing him organically really get over has been super cool. Super cool. We had a Texas death match with Layla Hirsch, Legit Layla, and Diamante. My God.
Holy shit.
These women beat the fuck out of each other. They did some insane fucking shit in this match. Joshi, tell the people about it.
There was a lot of blood. There was a lot of pain. So some of the parts of the match that stood out the most to me were when Diamante, she taped Layla to the rope and she grabbed a slipper and she was spanking Layla with it. And then she got another slipper from under the ring, and this time it had tacks, and she's hitting Layla with it. Layla was already a bloody mess. She had went through so many freaking chairs. at that point. And it was honestly my match of the night.
It was incredible.
It was incredible. They were both bleeding a lot. Look, if you didn't have respect for legit Layla and Diamante before, I really hope you do now. They are both so terrific. I really loved the ending as well, the finish. So basically, Layla tapes Diamante to the table, which is so clever. And then she climbs up the ladder and she does a perfect moonsault onto Diamante. And Diamante can't get up. She's counted out and Layla wins. It's a match that I'd love to rewatch.
Yeah, I've seen it twice.
Oh, you have seen it twice? Because I do remember there were other parts of the match that stood out. Like I remember there were a lot of chair spot. Oh, and the thumbtack. Oh my God.
The thumbtacks, that was gnarly. Wasn't it a superplex onto thumbtacks?
Yes.
I mean, that is like a whole nother level of taking a thumbtack bump.
Yeah.
You know, it's one thing to be dropped onto him from like the ground level, but to go off the fucking top rope and land. I mean, both of them landed in him.
They both did, yes.
The brutality of this match was incredible. Both these women bladed like crazy.
Yeah.
Diamante looked bloody as hell. Layla was bleeding like crazy. You know, I liked Layla a lot before she got injured when she was in AEW TV. I think she got injured before ROH was a thing in AEW, before Tony owned it. And she was away for quite a long time after she got hurt. That's why she wears that knee brace now. And she was gone for like a year. And I kind of forgot about her, to be honest. As the women's division has continued to improve in quality, you know, quality workers and stuff, you kind of wonder, like, is Layla really that good? Or like, she just look good compared to who she was wrestling at the time? No, she's good. She's really good.
She really is.
I've been a fan of Diamante since she was in LAX back in TNA. But these two, yeah, I have no problem calling this the match of the night either. Fantastic match.
And Dave Meltzer praised it a lot.
As he should.
Yeah, he actually said it might have been the best Americans women's wrestling match of the year.
Maybe. I mean, maybe. Like, it was fantastic. Go out of your way to see this one. You may have to. It's worth. Look, some of you don't want to subscribe to ROH every month. Honor Club. It's $10 a month. Get it for 1 month. Go watch your favorite matches and then get it again when they have their next special event. These special events are worth $10. Easy. The next match was another fucking banger. I loved this match.
Me too.
You had Lee Moriarty and Wheeler Yuta battling over the Pure title. These boys they exploited the Pure rules to the nth degree. Wheeler has become so good at these Pure Rules matches. This title is made for a guy like Lee Moriarty. I was rooting for Lee. Wheeler's been the champion enough times for long enough. He doesn't need that belt anymore. I would like to see actually Wheeler start challenging Mark Briscoe for the ROH World title. He's ready. I think he's totally ready. Lee Moriarty gets the win, and he holds the ropes to get the pin, but you know what? It's legal at that point. There's no more rope breaks. There's no, kind of what it took me a while to fully understand the Pure rules, but now that I do, I really like these matches. But these guys just put on a hell of a technical wrestling masterpiece in a lot of ways. Joshi, what were your thoughts?
Oh, I agree with you. It was one of my favorite matches of the night. I really like Lee Moriarty.
Me too. Huge fan, actually.
Yeah, he's so talented. And I think putting him with Shane Taylor was a really good idea. It was just hard to see him lose so often, Yes. So when they announced this match, I said, "Oh my gosh, I really hope Lee Moriarty wins the belt. It would be so nice because he's been working so hard for years now, and he deserves some recognition." So I was very pleased to see him win that belt. I think he deserves it. People talk a lot about Daniel Garcia and Wheeler Yuta with very good reason. But Lee Moriarty is up there too as one of the young guys that has a really promising future ahead of him, you know? So this is great. I'm really happy, and I can't wait to see his reign as champion for sure.
Well, and I'm glad you brought that up, because I was just going to say that the first wave of like young guys in AEW that lost a ton in the beginning and gradually started winning more and more and more, and now they're like upper card guys, was Jack Perry, Sammy Guevara, and Darby.
Yeah.
They would be put in high profile matches, but they always lost. The second wave of those guys was, to me, was Yuta, Daniel Garcia, and Lee Moriarty. They all got signed kind of around the same time, and they've all been in that same similar position where they get big opportunities, but they always lose in those big moments. I want to see them start taking their place higher up the card. All three of them have earned it. I think Wheeler Yuta is highly undervalued by the fan base sometimes. This dude rules.
He does.
And he has just embraced the Blackpool Combat Club the way they've embraced him. I love Wheeler Yuta, and I want bigger things for Wheeler Yuta. I want bigger things for Danny Garcia, which I think is coming. And I'm so happy for all three of these guys, and it was great to see Lee get his moment. Next match, another fucking really good match with an outcome that I was very, very pleased about.
Me too,
Red Velvet finally becomes a champion.
Finally, fun.
Beating Billy Starks. Really good match. Billy did a great job in this match. Kind of tried to pull the same bullshit she pulled with Aminata in that TV title tournament.
Fake.
What I loved was that Red Velvet was ready for everything. She was just ready for her in every way. I like that Velvet has incorporated the boxing punches into her repertoire, because the announcers do a better job of talking about her dad being a boxer. She's less high flying than she used to be.
Mm-hmm.
And I like her offense a lot better, actually. I think, she's very good at those high flying moves, and she does them sometimes, but they make more sense when she does them now. And I think she's grown a lot as a performer, but I've always thought she was a great athlete. So happy to see her get a title.
Team Red all the way, Team Red. Red Velvet is an incredible athlete. She only gets better. I think she's so underrated. Truthfully, she is one of those talents in ROH and AEW that doesn't really have a bad match, and it's about freaking time that she gets a title. I did see some discourse about Billy losing the title too quickly. I don't know. I'm okay with it.
I don't think it matters at all.
I don't think it matters. I don't think the TV title needs to be a belt that somebody keeps for months and months. It's fine.
If you look at TV titles historically, they're created to be the title that changes hands more often.
Yeah.
And, even WCW or Crockett back in the day with their TV title matches had a 15-minute time limit, and they changed hands more often. I could maybe count on a few fingers how many TV title reigns lasted more than a couple months, it just wasn't. It was the belt that could change hands more often because you wanted to preserve the meaning of the world title. Flair would be world champion for like a year and a half, but the TV title would change hands like 12 times in that same period of time. The next match was the Von Erichs and Dustin Rhodes versus the Dark Order, which I thought was, it was a fun match. Nothing too special about it. I would say this was probably the least compelling match of the night for me. But you know what? Dustin's still looking great in the ring.
Oh my God. How does he do it?
This guy.
Does he not age?
He did have, like 10 years in his 40s in his late 30s, 40s, where he wasn't on wrestling a whole lot.
True.
And man, this guy just still is great in the ring. Great in the ring.
Yes.
I'm a huge fan.
Yeah.
When I see Dustin wrestling, he's never going over anybody significant. So he's not like wasting a roster spot, and he's not being like puffed up. He just puts people over and makes them look great. God damn, he's good.
And like the Von Erichs and Dustin Rhodes, they did win that match. It was a good moment for them being in Texas, of course. So
yeah.
That's what it was for, really. I mean, they were in our LinkedIn, so the Von Erichs, got the win. Dustin's from Texas as well. It was a nice moment.
Well, the Rhodes and the Von Erichs are legendary.
Yeah,
Texas
they have
families.
history. Yeah.
And you know what? Dark Order is just so underrated.
They are.
Their matches are always fun, and they might be the actual like best trio in AEW when it comes down to like triple team maneuvers and all of that stuff. Like, they are super good. They have offense that is centered around being a trio, and I really enjoy Dark Order matches.
Me too.
Next match was a lot of fun.
Oh, yes.
Atlantis Jr., the ROH TV champion, wrestled Leo Rush, Shane Taylor, Brian Cage, Lee Johnson, and Johnny TV in an all-star elimination match. I'm going on record. I fucking love elimination matches.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? This is what triple threat matches should be. Okay? Not a way to avoid somebody taking a pin. I hate the like whoever gets the pin first wins rules. I hate that. Like, if you have a multi-person match, make it an elimination match. I guarantee you the crowd will be way more into it.
I'm with you.
This was a really fucking cool match. I loved it. Atlantis Jr. came out on top. I was really surprised by that finish. He's a he's a CMLL guy who beat Kyle Fletcher for the title. I thought maybe this, they'd let him hold it for a very brief time and then put it back on somebody from the promotion, but in the end, it's down to who was it? Brian Cage and Shane Taylor.
Yeah. So Shane Taylor got eliminated.
Right.
And then it was Brian Cage and
Atlantis.
Yeah, Johnny TV.
Oh, that's right. It was those.
Yeah.
Shane Taylor got eliminated first.
He got eliminated pretty early on in the match. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So it was Johnny TV and Brian Cage were the two remaining guys.
Yeah, exactly.
And they tried to double team Atlantis, and he kind of overcame them both. Fun match, made Atlantis look great. I was kind of pulling for maybe a title win for Leo Rush or Big Shotty. I'm actually a Big Shotty fan. I really, really enjoy him.
Oh my gosh. Honestly, I want Leo Rush to win a title. I don't care if it's an ROH title. This guy is so freaking good, and
he's amazing.
And like, I know he's retired a couple of times and people like to make fun of him for that. I know that the way he left AEW originally wasn't the greatest.
Cloudy
there were some sour grapes.
Sure.
Yeah. But ever since his match at Forbidden Door, after taking all those bumps, like, how can you not respect the guy? Like, I personally wanted him to win, but I'm okay with Atlantis Jr. being champion for a little bit longer. It is cool to see someone from CMLL with a ROH title. But eventually, yeah. I would like to see it on Leo Rush. I mean, what else does a guy have to do?
Well, and I would say I think Leo, to me, is showing he's in prove it mode right now with Tony.
Yeah.
If I was Tony, I wouldn't just hand him a contract right now. It's like, hey, you're going to put people over.
Yeah.
I want to see you work really hard and be consistent, because a guy does retire all the time.
He does. And
he's retired like 4 times.
He's not always reliable. No, you're right. I was thinking the exact same thing. No, but you're right. I was thinking the exact same thing as you. I think right now he has a lot to prove to Tony. You don't want to be in a messy situation like back in 2021, whenever that was. So I totally get it.
Just for the sake of full disclosure, I do think Tony fucked up with the tweet he sent out.
He did.
About Big Swole back in the day. We've all talked about that. I'm not saying that Leo was the only one who did any wrong in that situation, but it probably wasn't the right way to handle it. And Tony, it seemed like both of them didn't really want to work together after that point. But if Leo's interested in coming back, he's too good not to consider coming back.
Absolutely.
So Prove to me that you want to be here. Prove to me that you're going to stick around, and maybe we can work together. Dream match for Leo Rush is with Hologram.
I
want to see that match.
To say that. Gosh, do you have to be my twin? No, it's really cool.
Baby,
actually.
we're wrestling twins. I mean, it's just the way it is. But those two in a match together would be like insane.
I know, they're both so fast.
They're both so. I mean, yeah, exactly. We'd all be having seizures just because the motion would be too much. So Atlantis Jr. comes out on top. I'm good with it. I liked it. So here's the match that I fucking threw a total fucking childish fit about, like a fucking little baby. Couldn't believe myself that I was acting so childish about it. Athena, she of the 600 plus day title reign, triumphed over your queen to be, as Caprice Coleman is so fond of saying. Queen Aminata lost to Athena in a very, very, very excellent match. These two have great chemistry. I kind of was worried that Athena might win because the match didn't main event.
Right.
And I feel like if Athena's going to drop the title, it would have to be in the main event at this point because she's so over and really has had a historic title reign. I think she's just a few days shy of Samoa Joe at this point, who had the longest ever Ring of Honor world title reign. They have an incredible match, very physical. Athena looks fantastic. She looks like she dropped a few pounds, and not that she even needed to. She just looks excellent. It was a really, really hard hitting physical match. Aminata, again, also like Red Velvet, looked like she was ready for all of Athena's bullshit and wasn't going to take it. I hated the finish of this match. Joshi, what were your thoughts on the match?
The match itself, I thought it was excellent.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very hard hitting. They countered each other's moves, lots of back and forth. I think Aminata is an excellent wrestler. I mean, what haven't we said about Athena? She's one of the best wrestlers ever, period. But I just think Aminata is so amazing in the ring, and she hasn't been in AEW ROH for that long, and she's already made such a huge impact. The crowd loves her. She's already considered one of the best. I mean, Bless her heart, she's just got it. It's like in her. When it comes to wrestling, she's got it. She has the charisma. The match was awesome. I figured that Athena would win because, as you said, they didn't main event, and the match took place in Texas.
Right. So Athena's in front of a home crowd. And the crowd was very loud for Athena. They would have booed the shit out of Aminata if she had won.
They would have been furious if Aminata would have won.
Yeah.
The finish was okay, I guess. Like, I agree. Well, no, it wasn't too good. I agree with you. I don't like when it becomes overly booked and complicated for nothing.
They have this great match, and then there's a bunch of interference. Aminata gets knocked out. I forget.
Billy comes out, distracts the referee, and then Athena's telling Nexi Nair to give her the microphone.
That's what it was. And she brained Aminata with the microphone.
With the microphone, and then proceeds to execute the O-face onto Aminata. And that's how she retained. Yep. Now, let me know what you think, Blade. But for me, I think, okay, so if this is the end of Athena and Aminata's feud, I will be kind of bummed. Because I do think that Aminata should be the one to beat Athena. I have seen people online say that it's going to be Billy Starks. Maybe I'm in the minority. I personally think it should not be Billy. I have nothing against Billy. She's a very good wrestler. The fact that she's that good at such a young age is amazing, but she has plenty of time. She doesn't have to win the ROH women's title right now. I think Aminata has proven so much more in a very short period of time. Like, for me, if this is it, Athena cheated to win and that's the end of the rivalry, I don't know. That doesn't leave a great taste in my mouth. What do you
I
think?
agree. I think they were trying to protect Aminata with the finish a little bit. This is the first time I can recall Athena having to cheat this blatantly to win a match. She's just beaten everybody for the most part, hard hitting matches, and she just wins. And she's a heel, but she wins because she's the best. So I believe this is the first time Athena has had to so blatantly cheat to win.
Yeah.
And so I think there was some of that was designed to protect Aminata. I don't think Billy should be the one to take the belt off her. I don't think Billy's there, like where you can justify that. The way that you've booked Athena, Billy is not the one I would want taking the belt off her. I would give a rematch to Aminata with, if the minions interfere, blah, 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 blah will happen, and make it a straight up wrestling match and show that Athena is scared of Aminata and have Aminata beat her.
I agree.
The other reason why is because I do really like Billy Starks and Athena together. I love that Billy Starks calls Athena boss. I love the whole thing. Like the minions and training thing has been great. And I think it's worthy of being on Dynamite. And I would love to see all of them get called up. And it's weird we're talking about it like it's NXT. But I would love to see them on Collision or Dynamite doing this gimmick.
Me too.
I don't think the minions and training thing has run out its course yet. So I threw a fit, then I thought about it, and it kind of made sense on a lot of levels. Just like you said, took place in Texas, blah, blah, blah. So we'll have to see how this plays out. But I really do hope Aminata gets her day. And lastly, we have Mark Briscoe and Roderick Strong. Very, very good match. Very good match. Super bloody. Mark Briscoe had one hell of a week last week. He did blood and guts. Then he wrestled Roderick Strong. And then he wrestled the next night on TV as well in a tag match on Collision. So fantastic match. Fantastic pay-per-view or fantastic special event, whatever. I have something I have to say.
Uh-oh.
Joshi, there are too many goddamn titles.
Oh, I agree with you. I freaking agree.
This is ridiculous. It's not. I've been reluctant to pile on. There is no reason that the ROH 6-man titles needed to be reinstated at all. To have a fluid roster. There isn't even a set roster for Ring of Honor, for God's sake.
Right.
And to have 2 trios titles between one roster, basically. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. And so, when they unified the 6-man titles with the trios titles, that made a lot of sense. But I wanted them to stay unified. I wanted there to be one set of titles. And as much as I enjoyed watching the Bullet Club Gold Bang Bang Gang carry all 9 titles to the ring, it made me nervous because it was like, they're not really saying that the Ring of Honor 6-man titles are over with. So I am proposing that we eliminate some belts, and we should start with the Ring of Honor 6-man titles. I would make the trios titles less dependent on the roster. So they can be defended in AEW. They can be defended in ROH. They just travel between brands. I see no problem with that. I also would further propose that we change the name of Ring of Honor to AEW Ring of Honor. Just the way WWE does with NXT.
Yes.
Tony Khan says it would be more marketable that way, and I completely agree. If people know that that's why WWE does it with NXT. Is it makes it more recognizable to sponsors and to all these other people. Just do it. Who cares? It's cool that they're keeping the Ring of Honor brand name alive, but make it make sense.
And they'll be more likely to get a TV deal.
Yeah, exactly.
AEW fans will probably be more inclined to actually watch it because it will be on TV. There's so many benefits to it at this point. So I say, freaking do it, and do it as soon as you can, man. I hope it's included in their deal with Warner Brothers Discovery. I'm really keeping my fingers crossed.
Yeah, I don't see any reason. I don't think they can have split rosters or have a Ring of Honor roster until they have TV. And so
yeah,
if the TV deal is what gets us the dedicated roster, I'll take it. I'll take it.
Yeah. And I'm with you. I am really confused about these 6-man titles now. Like, okay, so we decided to split the AEW Trios titles and ROH titles again. Why?
Yeah. Yeah.
You know?
Well, they did this with the Triple Crown in the C2.
You unify and then you're all like, nope, split.
And then it's just like very like it never happened.
Yeah, it's like it never happened.
Yeah, it's annoying.
And at Battle of the Belts, it wasn't even the Bang Bang Gang.
No.
Bullet Club Gold that got to basically wrestle Dustin and the Von Erichs for the belts. It was the Von Erichs and Dustin Rhodes versus Undisputed Kingdom. Like, what the hell? You know, there's no reason for it. It was just weird.
And it was basically an excuse to have a title change on a Battle of the Belts, which never have title changes. And the other two matches weren't even for titles.
Yeah.
Like,
it was weird. You know, and it's like, maybe the reason they decided to do this is because they still have a few more shows in Arlington and they're like, oh, let's put it on the Texans. I don't know. But sometimes, man, you got to be clear about certain things. And this is just not clear to me at all. So
yeah,
I'm with you. I Blade Daily 100%. Real quick, I freaking loved Hologram Mortos from Collision. Holy crap. Okay. My match of the week.
Yeah.
Like, first off, we know how amazing Mortos is. We discussed him earlier. But, man, Hologram is really impressive. I mean, this guy is so damn fast. I Blade Daily, we were talking earlier about how he reminds us of freaking Rey Mysterio Jr., you know, back in his earlier days. He's that quick. He's that agile. He's just, wow, so impressive. I want these guys to continue to wrestle each other. I was really taken aback, man.
It's a legit fight forever situation.
Yeah, fight forever. Yeah.
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit of like Ray and Psychosis in WCW, where they just wrestle each other all the time. Hologram definitely gives me Rey Mysterio 1996 brand new on national TV vibes. Like, I had heard about the guy, just read about him in PWI, what he was doing in ECW, and then he was all of a sudden on Nitro wrestling Dean Malenko. How could you not be a huge fan of Rey Mysterio the first time you saw him? And
oh my gosh,
Hologram is the same thing. This dude's delivering massively.
He is.
And he's, Mortos, he is the god of sit down, shut up, mark out. That is.
Yes, we've decided.
We pledge allegiance to the Dark Daddy.
Forever. But we can't deny Hologram's talent.
Absolutely not.
He really is such a pleasure to watch. And I mean, when I had read that, they signed, can you remind me what his name was in AAA? I believe
Aramis.
When they had mentioned that Hologram was Aramis, I wasn't too familiar with him. I just thought, okay, it's going to be another luchador, right? I did not expect it.
No.
I did not expect him to be one of the best I've ever seen.
It's crazy.
Yeah. What a pleasant surprise. Yeah, I would say put him in a long-term feud with Mortos. Give it to us. We're sick. We need this injected into our veins. We want to be ill.
Make us sick, Tony. Make us sick. Well, we could have gone on for so much longer. I have more to say about these title belts, and we will. We will talk more about them. But for now, I'm Blade Daily.
I'm Joshi G.
And we'll see you very, very soon. But until then, pro wrestling.
For life. Forever, too. And enjoy Dynamite, guys.
Pro wrestling forever. Don't step on my tagline. Pro wrestling forever.
Sorry.
I'm kidding. there, Jack Perry?